you just talk about tomorrow's game in terms of squad rotation? You're coming off a short turnaround. How likely is it that we're going to see, new faces in the lineup for tomorrow?
Yeah, I think obviously we have an obligation to look after the players. It is a short turnaround. It also was played on turf in extreme heat. So I think it's making sure that we manage the squad appropriately. And yeah, there will definitely be changes and you will see new faces.
Let's go to Anthony.
Bonjour. Evelyne, ma question pour toi, l'an dernier, ça a été une super bonne expérience, je pense, au Stade Saputo, avec la victoire contre le Mexique, tu avais eu aussi un très bon match. Est-ce que tu avais le plus apprécié de ce match-là et que tu as hâte de revivre demain?
Ouais, l'année passée, ça a été un super match contre le Mexique. On avait gagné 2 ou 3-0, je me trompe pas. J'avais fait une bonne entrée. Je pense que juste jouer à la maison, c'est toujours un honneur. Avoir ma famille dans les estrades, des amis. Donc, j'espère que demain, le stade va être assez rempli. On va faire une bonne performance. Puis, je pense que l'équipe canadienne a un nouveau vent, des nouvelles idées de jouer. Puis, j'espère que les fans vont apprécier.
John, do you have another question?
Yeah, if I may. Casey, just wanted to get your sort of impression of the game in Winnipeg. What did you make of the team's performance? And, what are you going to be looking for in the return match in Montreal tomorrow?
Yeah, I think there were huge positives in terms of the things we're trying to implement. I think the players are taking on the ideas. I think we created more chances than I've seen recently. Some good combination play, good relationships. Obviously, we went 2 up early. I think we could have kept our standards a little bit higher after that. I think we started to go a little bit more individual rather than collective. But there was also a factor of heat as well. I thought there was really good moments in possession. I thought it was really positive moments in terms of counter-pressing, trying to win the ball back. But we need to tidy up on those transition moments even more. I think that was where, Haiti created some good opportunities. And obviously defensively, making sure that it's not so easy to play through us and beat us 1v1.
And if I could ask you just about Haiti, what's your impression of them overall? You seem to be a country that's a little bit on the rise in the CONCACAF region.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they've got some world-class players as well. I think if you look at Demornay, I think she's a world-class player who's playing at the highest level, who caused us problems. And I think obviously collectively they're looking to improve. I think they've been at some major tournaments that's helped them. They're very physical in terms of the way they play and break the game up. But yeah, I think it gives us a different challenge. We're going to have lots of different challenges throughout this year, which is a really positive step for us.
Thank you. We'll go to Armin.
Hi, Casey. Just a quick question about the Northern Super League, if I may. We're about a quarter of the way through the season. I'm wondering, what have your impressions been and what have you made of the level, the potential roster sort of pool improvements that you're seeing as well?
Yeah, I think obviously I attended a couple of the opening games and watched many others. So I think it's a league that's going to get better and better as it goes along. I think it's about coaches finding out their best ways to play in terms of identity, bringing in the right players to suit that identity, and that takes time. I think the level has been good. I think it's going to continue to improve. I think the fact that people are playing consistently and playing minutes consistently is only going to help them in terms of individuals. And, it's a league we can look to now to improve our player pool.
And a follow-up for Evelyne, if I may. Have you and your teammates sort of embraced this Northern Super League from a cultural perspective? You guys have little rivalries within the national team. Who's supporting, different cities across the league? What's been the player impression of the league so far?
Yeah, I think a lot of us that live in Europe, we watch a game when we can. Obviously, I'm following the Roses. Hopefully, I can catch a game before I go back to Europe. But no, I think it's fun to watch and just. I'm excited to go to a game and just trying to get to a game against Halifax, so see some familiar faces. And yeah, it's fun to see which team is leading the league and how they play and just how the fans are able to watch games day in and day out for women's football.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to Tom.
Hi, question for Casey, if I may. Adrienne Leon, there's no messing around from her in Winnipeg with two early goals, 2 really emphatic finishes. Obviously, she's coming off a brace as well at a club that you obviously know very well, previous weekend. It seems to me that Adriana, in her club career, she's bounced around clubs a little bit, but her importance to the national team, her record speaks for itself. I'm just wondering what you see from her at the moment, the form and confidence that she's in, and also continued, vital role in your attacking ranks.
Yeah, I think like this one sitting next to me, she's a goal scorer. And I think they're rare in the game. So I think having goal scorers in your team is important. Having goal scorers that can come off the bench and into the game and make an impact is important. I think when Dree is happy, confident, and feeling like she knows what her value is, I think you get the best out of her. And I think maybe at other clubs, she hasn't necessarily felt that. This is just an assumption because she has bounced around, but knowing getting her into the right areas, getting her opportunities, and she'll score goals. She's hardworking, she's diligent in that in terms of what she does. So I think it's just about getting her in the right areas and making sure she knows what her value is to the team. And she definitely feels that when she's in the national team.
Thanks, Casey. Appreciate it.
On va retourner à Antonin.
Merci. J'ai une autre question pour Evelyne. Tu disais là, que l'équipe canadienne a peut-être des nouvelles idées, un nouveau vent. Qu'est-ce que tu aimes pour les nouvelles idées que le nouveau staff amène en 2025?
Ben, je pense que la première chose pour moi comme attaquante, c'est l'idée de marquer des buts, de créer des chances, de marquer, de pas seulement faire un 1-0, mais vraiment aller chercher des buts. Donc, je pense que comme attaquante, c'est un truc qui m'allume. Puis je pense que c'est des nouvelles idées qui rend aussi un peu notre performance plus intéressante au niveau des fans quand ils viennent, de voir qu'on est capable de créer plus d'occasions, mais aussi de marquer plus de buts.
We'll go back to Tom.
Sorry, left my hand up.
No worries. Antonin, do you have one more? You're good? Okay, we have...
Same thing, sorry.
No worries. We have a question from Instagram Live. Hamcon_509 is asking Evelyne, qu'est-ce que tu penses du match du 31 et est-ce que tu t'attends à ce que le match soit similaire?
Je pense que le match du 31, ça a été positif. On a marqué 4 buts. Je pense que c'est comme Casey l'a dit, il y a des petits moments qu'on peut s'améliorer. On a fait un bon premier 20 minutes. Je pense que c'est positif. Après ça, je pense que demain, ça va être... Haïti va nous apporter des images un peu différentes de comment s'adapter. Je pense que c'est important quand on vient d'une bonne victoire, c'est recommencer le match rapidement puis apporter l'intensité dans les premières minutes.
Then we have a question from...
This one's for Coach Haiti. Coach, how do we feel about the possibility of a potentially sizable Haitian crowd tomorrow, and has it impacted preparations in any way?
No, I think a crowd's a crowd, and actually sometimes having a big crowd in terms of opposition actually helps. I think if we can silence them early, that would be great. I think we want an atmosphere. We want the players to have a big crowd. Hopefully we can get, plenty of Canadian fans in the ground too to get behind the team. But yeah, I'm quite a lover of making sure that even if it's hostile, I love it, I think we can create a siege mentality and try and, make sure that they're not on the cheering side.
Another one from Instagram Live for Coach Casey. How do you feel about the pipeline of younger players that can contribute to this team both now and going forward?
Yeah, I think it's obviously something that I think we've shown that we're looking at is bringing in young players at the right times to make sure that we widen the pool. We need depth. We need to give young players a chance, and we don't know how good they are until we put them in. We obviously are looking at our youth pathways and how we can continue to improve, have more contact time, more camps, more competition, and raise the levels there because we need to prepare players to step into the senior environment.
We'll go back to Zoom. John?
Thanks. Casey, we're coming up on your 5-month sort of anniversaries, for lack of a better word, since being appointed national team coach. I just wanted to get your sense of where you think the team is, and what have you seen in terms of the progression since you've taken over?
Yeah, I think first probably 5 months really have been about exploring, about getting to know the players, getting to know the staff, understanding the skill sets of what we've got available, making sure the team plays to the strengths of the players rather than getting the players to adapt to something that we want to do. I've got to be honest, the first 2 camps at least has been about building trust in coaching and technical team. I think the players lost trust over the last year, which is absolutely understandable. I'm coming in as a foreign person into a national team that, you know, I genuinely have a desire to do well for. It's a privilege and an honour to represent this team. And what I've got to know is there's some incredible people, some incredible talent. And if we can just fine tune things, we can, you know, give the players the right tools to be able to be successful, then we can go up a gear.
Okay, we have time for one last question.
This is a very specific one, Coach. What do you think about Caleb Briggs?
Well, that is very specific. Yeah, I thought obviously in the last camp, Kayla did really well, and we gave her the debut, and I thought she actually performed really well within that game. I think she's back in this camp, deservedly so, based on her last performances. And she's done well. You know, she's hardworking, dedicated. She wants to learn, wants to get better. She's got all the attributes that you'd want in a player in terms of being a coach.